Welcome to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome to This Week in Geek. And for the first time in a long time,
it's trailer time.
What's up, geeks? My name is Kev, and this is the Geekcentric podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, well, we are a podcast focusing on the world of movies, TV shows, games, toys, and collectibles, and all things geek-centric. In fact, tonight we're a little sports-orientated, just a little, because we are coming to you the day after the big game. Super Bowl 59 is in the bag, and my Eagles are once again world champions. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! But we won't focus on that for too long because almost as exciting as that, it's also been an exciting week for geeks everywhere as we were bombarded with a slew of trailers for some of the biggest movies of the summer. And we are here to break down all the trailers that we got this week and during the big game itself. Joining me today are a couple of geeks as in sync as the best quarterback and wide receiver duos in the league. It's as if they can read each other's minds, and they never fumble when it comes to sharing their opinions on all things geek-centric. Coming onto the field from York University, it's Justin Lawrence. And from Humber College, Nate Shelton. What's up, boys? Are we pumped and ready to do this thing?
I'm just saying bye to Kelsey because, you know, it's time that we don't have such a heavy focus on the Chiefs.
I mean, the Swifties, where were they tonight? You know, that's what I was wondering. You know, where was their love? Where was their energy? I didn't feel it.
They're exhausted after 18 months of the Eras tour.
That's true. Give them a break.
Need a break.
Yeah.
They've cheered enough for.
Ask Meg. She's still tired from the last year, you know. And they just want to share the joy to the rest of the world. Now, obviously, I shared my brief excitement about the game itself. Although the game itself was terribly boring. You never want to watch a rout. The Eagles had that wrapped up by the first quarter, and it was kind of one of the more boring Super Bowl games I've watched. But what did we think of Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance, guys?
Fire. Absolute fire. It was so good. I loved it. I think it was designed and choreographed well. It's more about his performance than it is about like any of the flashiness. So I loved it, but I also loved Samuel L. Jackson sort of serving as a narrator, as Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam,
yeah.
It was a fun idea. The blocking that they did across that field, and he was always in the perfect spot, and then Kendrick would appear behind him and stuff. It was a really cool and such a grounded performance. Based on compared to a lot of the high flying spectacles we've seen. I thought it was really cool.
I was just mad they didn't show the guy going, mustard! I wanted to see where did that come from? You know what I mean? I was hoping he'd show up.
I loved the, we didn't get too many surprise, performances in addition to Kendrick. It was very Kendrick and I believe someone else. But the surprise and delight for sure was seeing Serena Williams just shuffling. And I thought it was given what the song is about and, about Drake. And there's a history with Drake and Serena that I don't really fully understand, but I know that there's a history there. It's just all very on the nose, if you will, and very I don't know. There's just no hiding from it, right? Like I guess it is as obvious as it is that this is a ongoing I guess artistic dispute between Kendrick and Drake.
Oh, I think it goes a lot deeper than that.
A lovely way to put it. An artistic dispute.
That's what his lawyers will be saying, as they get ready for the counter from Drake's.
I think that's what they call it in the UK. That's what they call it in the UK.
But I think that's it. We've done our coin toss, and it's time to kick things off. We should move to the main event here. What we're really here to do, which is discuss movies. Again, it was such a big week. It seems like once a year you get this really big burst of movie trailers. I know we did a trailer time last year where it just seemed every other day a new trailer was coming out, and this week was no different. yeah, we did a really fun trailer time with like Romulus and a few other big movies that were coming out. I think Furiosa was one of them. But this week we've got a little bit of Marvel. We've got a little bit of Tom Cruise. We've got lots of fun things to talk about. And I thought we'd start with some of the big game spots that featured during the Super Bowl. Obviously, there was a spot for Jack Quaid's Novocaine. There was something for the Smurfs. There's also a fun little commercial with Lilo crashing the festivities.
Oh, Stitch.
Did any of those? Oh, Stitch. Lilo. She wasn't there yet. It was just Lilo. But
No, it was
yeah, what
just
did we think
Stitch.
of any of those? It was
was
just
not
Stitch.
Lilo.
It was just Stitch. This is what happens when you're doing things on the fly, boys.
Oh man, I mean, Stitch. Just really quickly, Stitch was fantastic. That was from a marketing beat. I think we all remember the classic, montage of him going through all the different Disney movies, and we've seen him on all the different posters recently. So getting to see him on the field, I thought the game was back on, and it was just so smart the way they did it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's part of the beauty of what they're doing right now with that Stitch campaign is infusing the character into the Disney moments, and it's a little more hybrid. It's like it's almost like elements from the movies. I know there was that like little teaser of him like rolling through and crashing a castle, which was Disney. I think it was Disneyland or whatnot. So the whole campaign and to bring it to the Super Bowl in that way is it's smart. It makes sense.
Now, do we think we will see more appearances from Stitch, before the movie comes out on May 23rd? I'm kind of wondering, does he put on a little tuxedo and crash the festivities in early March? I think that would be a lot of
at the
fun
Oscars?
if he hits the Oscars.
Isn't there something against them like running ads? But they did it, right? Remember they did it with Little Mermaid, and they
did the Little Mermaid ad. Yeah,
they did, but they got slack for it for doing it. Because it's their channel that the Academy Awards is on and so on. I don't know if that was giving them reason to, again, don't know the ins and outs of it. But I remember there was a lot of conversation about the fact that they ran a Little Mermaid spot. I think it was part of the show, actually. If I'm not mistaken, it was actually embedded in the show. But you're right. Like, they could get away with something like that.
If it's embedded in there somehow.
Yeah, because it's about the show, right? Like it's about the Oscars, like you were saying. So,
I just hope that if anyone gets an Oscar, it's Seal from his incredible performance as a seal in the Baja Blast advertisement. I don't know if you guys saw this. It's kind of nightmare fuel, I'm not gonna lie, and it reminds me of something that the Skittles marketing team would do. So kudos to you, Mountain Dew team, for putting together this advertising, because it is absolutely wild to see, and I think it might be my favorite since Peacock's ad last year with football head being thrown through the sky.
that's interesting. So that was a commercial for Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew Baja Blast, dude.
It seems like Mountain Dew would be like Skittles adjacent, so it makes sense that they would go edgy with their
there's
advertising.
probably the chart over. There's a lot of overlap in those audiences, I guess.
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there was a handful of star-studded ads for sometimes useless shit. And I'm sure you can find that. I'm sure someone's put together a supercut of them all. I didn't see any other ones that really stood out though that were like being circulated. Was there any other ones that you saw, Kev?
Not that I've had a chance to really check out yet. It's tough being in Canada, right? We don't get all of those big spots. That's why it was nice watching. I watched the game last year down in Florida, and I was like, I finally get that experience of watching these commercials live and not having to find a website the next day to track them all down.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But yeah, speaking of Mountain Dew, I had no idea there's like whole little subgroups that all have their favorite Mountain Dew flavor. It's like really intense. And like I remember I had to go to a convenience store to grab my brother a Mountain Dew, and he was like, okay, if they have Baja Blast, I'll take that. But if not, we'll go for the Code Red. And if they don't have Code Red, but they have the blue one, let's get that one. And then if not, I'll settle for regular Mountain Dew. I'm like, Jesus. Like, I'll just take a Coke Zero. Thanks.
You don't want to mess with the dudes. You don't want to mess.
Yeah.
The Dew heads, maybe. I don't know. Because then that way it's a little more inclusive. I don't know.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. No, I mean there's dudes and dudettes. I guess.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the dudes and dudettes. Spelled DEW. We just wrote next year's campaign for them.
Let's
You're
go.
welcome.
You're welcome.
There we go. I finally put my college diploma to use. That's fantastic. But yeah, it's for some people at least. There's more than commercials. There's obviously the big game, but for us, it's about the movie spots. We're here to see big announcements in the entertainment world, and we got a few of those. Our first hitting theaters first is Marvel's anti-hero answer to the Suicide Squad. Is how I'm kind of looking at it, which stars Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Sebastian Stan, Hannah John Kamen, Olga Kurylenko, and Wyatt Russell. Of course, I'm talking about Thunderbolts, which crashes into theaters May 2nd. I really like this trailer. I'm excited. I think this is going to be a Marvel sleeper, man.
Yeah, and Marvel sleeper in the sense that everyone's maybe putting attention to Fantastic Four, because I don't know if everyone's as hyped for Captain America as maybe Marvel's anticipated. But that said, I think that this is going to be the better sort of political, spy espionage vibe to it. But then there's a buddy cop ensemble to it that I feel is really cool. It is really nice to just see something a little more fleshed out. Everything has been sort of clips and scenes up to this point. This feels a little bit more robust in terms of giving us like a little more story, and also what the threat's going to look like with Sentry. And I love that they still kept him out, even though it's very clear who it's going to be. But yeah, this is great. This got, to your point, it has me very, very excited and anticipating that this is going to be a big hit for them, even if it is Suicide Squad-esque, if you will.
But I think this feels very family. It's I think it's seeing my girl Flopu, Yelena, tearing up when her dad says, "When I look at you, I don't see your mistakes." I think there's going to be moments in this movie that are going to hit really, really strong, and I think they're going to maybe connect a little bit more on the familial side. I think we're going to sort of fall in love with these characters even more. I mean, obviously, there's some that we've already fallen in love with. We've already forgiven Bucky for what he's done, and he's totally turned around. But I think even with someone like John Walker,
that's who I think you're like in reference to what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think that's his arc for sure. Is us having as an audience some sort of sense of forgiveness for him or understanding.
Yeah, because it's, you see him with his baby there, and he's reading about how he's not a hero, and I think just even someone like Taskmaster, we really didn't get a lot from Taskmaster in the movie that she debuted in, right? And so getting to sort of see her in this, I mean, I'm really intrigued to sort of just see how they're able to pull it together. I think, yeah, dude, Sentry looks terrifying. I think not since the Thanos dusting effect have I been so like scared by something that I've seen in a Marvel movie, because I do think that moment, those moments of him just pointing or moving his hand out and seeing those people just turn into shadows on the street is terrifying.
His voice sounds sick though, too, right? Like they put like a weird distortion on it. I'm imagining he's going to be like super like powered up in that moment when he says what he says.
Yeah, and I think it also this movie feels like it's very much on its own, right? I think that's one of the beautiful things. I think with the upcoming Captain America, I saw an article today on IGN talking about all the loose threads that you're going to want to know about before going into this Captain America story. And I don't, I think the article and the headline sort of made it seem a little bit more like you had to be on top of this stuff than you actually do. But I think this movie really does give the vibe that if you just want a fun adventure that you don't have to have, all these years of homework on, I think it gives that vibe, and I'm really excited about it.
I wonder though if Captain America: Brave New World is going to play a part in something in this, because there's that remark where he says like, we're the Thunderbolts, and he says we can't call ourselves that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if like whatever's going to happen in this movie is going to affect why they can't call themselves the Thunderbolts, and that the reason why that asterisk is there as sort of a temporary code name. They're going to change it because maybe something happens. I don't know. So we'll see. But I agree with you in that, the only thing you really need to know is who each of these characters are, right? And where they might have come from and where they might have shown up. But there's not much heavy lifting outside of that. Like with Captain America, to your point, there's so much more that ties into that with the different elements at play, that it's, it'll be interesting to see how, how much you follow along, right?
Well, and I think these days you sort of come to expect having to do a little bit of homework when you go into a Marvel movie. Another big spot we got was for a movie that you definitely will be needing to do some serious homework for, as they're really pumping the idea that it is the final, I'll believe it when I see it, installment for Mission Impossible, starring Tom Cruise, Haley Atwell, Ving Rhames, Simon Pegg, Vanessa Kirby, Palm Clemente, and Angela Bassett. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning starts the blockbuster frenzy, or continues the blockbuster frenzy, I should say, but really gets summer kicking off on May 23rd.
Yeah, it was so cool to see I love getting to see all the different sequences from across the entire franchise. It's just kind of, this trailer sort of felt a little bit less like a traditional trailer and more of just like a look how far we've come, right? Look at the journey that this franchise has taken us on. And I mean, of course, it kicks off with good old Tom just running his ass off. But this got me hyped, and I love the aspect ratio thing. Like, whenever we see that in a movie, it always just feels like the coolest thing in the world to see the the aspect ratio change in real time. Like, I know this is just for this trailer, but if there's any of that in the movie, I'll be pretty pumped.
Yeah, the whole opening with everything tied back to the other films. Some of it seems very important, right? Like, we see, the knife, and then we see him holding the knife, which is obviously shot more recently, and it's going to be in this movie. In number 3, there's the rabbit's foot, if I'm not mistaken, or the thing that he was trying to chase with and get from Philip Seymour Hoffman. That makes an appearance in this trailer too, and I believe that's from number 3, J.J. Abrams.
The best one.
Yeah, it's one of the best. Yeah, it's definitely.
Come on.
Definitely
So
is the
good.
best.
Yeah.
It's the most grounded. But anyways, that's another discussion.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's cool that they're kind of bringing all these elements. It's just, it'll be interesting to see if something like that plays a factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if everything that we've seen throughout these other films does find a way of mattering and making sense, or at least finding a new involvement in this new story, it's interesting to think about. But I'm with you, Kevin. I don't know if this is the final. I know Tom Cruise doesn't want to make it this final, but I think some are kind of Tom, we've done enough of this.
How old
right?
is that guy now? He's like
mid to late 50s.
Yeah. I think he's going to do it till he's 90.
You keep going with these, and you're going to have to go into space. Fast and Furious had to go into space, so
yeah, but for a moment, for a really brief moment.
Hey, they were still flying a car in space, man. Tom Cruise can't run in space, so
Didn't we hear a news article that said something about he was gonna go do it in space?
He was gonna
at
go
some point?
film an actual movie of some sort in space.
I think
I wonder if they're still working on it.
I think he's still working on that. I think that is with. He's 62, by the way. He's not.
Wow.
50. Yeah, so he's
Good
62
on him.
years old.
Doesn't look a day over 40. The prick.
Seriously. What a jerk.
Yeah,
I'm going Scientology from here on out, boys. I'm almost 40, and I look 62, so this isn't fair. All I know is I just did a full rewatch of this franchise going into Dead Reckoning Part 1, the formerly named.
And then you don't need to watch the full thing.
I
again.
feel like I'm going to have to do it again. I don't remember
Why?
anything. You know how many movies I've seen since then? If there's going to be all these little Easter eggs, I kind of felt like I prepared myself for that for Dead Reckoning, and it wasn't really necessary. And now it's going to be.
Yes, and that's very true. I did the same thing. It's a good rewatch. I think
maybe even a Dead Reckoning. Watch
Yes.
your favorites, then Dead Reckoning, and that part 1, and then Final.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could skip part 2, but then would I skip part 2? Do you know what I mean? It's still somewhat decent in terms of action, but it does not age well. And it's probably
If you're gonna watch 12 hours of Mission Impossible, why not watch 14?
yeah, exactly.
What's an extra couple hours? Do the whole. If you're gonna do it right.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
Well,
looks good.
Well, we know Tom Cruise runs fast, but I think we're going to see somebody who I always think of when I think of Tom Cruise from that time in movies and everything. We're going to see Brad Pitt driving really, really fast, because our final big game spot is for the Brad Pitt vehicle that will put us in the driver's seat of Formula One racing. Nate just got it. Thank you. F1 drives into theaters from Warner Brother Pictures this summer. I don't think we have an official date. I couldn't find one. It just says this summer.
Kevin,
Yes.
you need to get, the people that write the stuff for the YouTube, under the YouTube, the synopsis, you know what I mean? For all the
Sure.
PR. Get into that. You should get into that. You're good.
That would harken on my advertising background, sure.
I loved this trailer. I think it's
Sick.
It's very vibe oriented, but it still shows you who's in this movie and the sort of hot nature, if you will. You know, you got Brad Pitt, Javier Bardem, like, you know, some good looking individuals. But then you also have this very sort of visceral experience of being in an F1 and just the sound and the way the camera is moving and pivoting. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the director who did Tron and Top Gun,
Joseph Kosinski. Not to be mistaken with Krasinski.
No, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, Joseph Kosinski is directing this, and he has such a way with using the camera to as a vessel to experience the stories that that's what you really got from Top Gun, right? And I think, you know, applying some of that into F1 with a whole new level of experience, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exhilarating, and I really want to see it on the biggest friggin' screen ever.
I just hope it does a good job of explaining to me what the hell the sport actually is besides driving in a circle. Like, I know, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to put it down. It's not making a dig at it, because I know it's incredibly difficult and challenging of a sport. But what I mean by that is I just hope I get to learn a little bit more. I love when these movies can teach me as a non-fan of something to get into it. And if it takes, you know, Brad Pitt and Javier Bardem to do so, then thank you, Hollywood. But
absolutely, you know. Hollywood's done its job. If it's
exactly
if it's done,
if
that.
I can learn more about F1,
if you don't even learn more, but you enjoy the experience,
sure.
I think it's still a mission accomplished, right?
Sure. yeah. That was the last trailer, Justin.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Nate, this will just wet your whistle a little, and they'll focus. They're going to show you how intense this is, how dangerous it is. You might learn a little bit about like the art of turning and, like, you know, learning these tracks and how they feel and everything. And you're going to be so addicted. You're going over to Netflix after this movie to watch Formula One: Drive to Survive. I've heard my father-in-law has been trying to get me to watch this for years, and I'm just like, I just can't get into the racing thing, but it's apparently one of the best sports documentaries. Like, casuals around the world have fallen in love with F1 racing because of this show.
I could see Nate watching this movie, walking out, and then coming back wearing like all F1 gear, like just an F1 jacket, a hat, and sunglasses. And he's like, "You guys ready to go to the track? You want to go to the track?"
I'm totally Team Lambo, guys. Totally Team Lambo.
Kevin, I'll be driving you home, and you'll be like, "It's a right," and I'll be like, "No. I got to find a way to only turn left. I'm so sorry.
I can only turn left.
I can only turn left."
Awesome.
I still can't picture you driving too fast, though. I've been in the car enough. You're a nice, safe driver, which is good.
June 27th, 2025. I found the date.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I kept seeing it's on the poster. It's this summer. I'm like, get
Well,
specific,
it could be moving.
guys.
It could be moving. It might be one of those things with like an Apple. It is Apple TV and Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers is doing the in-theater distribution, but it will eventually show up on Apple.
Right. I don't know. June 27th seems like a very dangerous date to put anything out. I wouldn't be sniffing July if I were a movie at all. And of course, we'll get into that now because,
Speaking of sniffing.
Speaking of taking a big whiff, I mean, obviously Super Bowl spots are very expensive, and so I find it kind of funny that a lot of these were like, you know, at least for the Thunderbolts, it's like, here, check out this, 15-second teaser. That's all we're willing to spend, and then go watch the actual full trailer.
Yes, that's smart. Actually, I think that's
it's
smart.
Brilliant. Yeah. It gets you to gets traffic to their sites and everything.
You're not spending a lot of money on that time slot. You're just spending it for 15 seconds to point people to the online trailer, which is going to gain millions of views, and they can manage how many views that's going to get, right? So, less ad dollars spent.
But two other movies, just said, you know what, we're not even going to wait for the Super Bowl. And so this week we got back-to-back days of massive trailer drops. I loved how they both said, no, you know what, we'll each take a day. We won't step on each other's toes. And they gave each other a day to say, like, our trailer's coming out tomorrow, and then you can come out the next day. And they teased it on Twitter and all the areas. And then, we got hit with some ones. Certainly, I'm very, very excited for. Our first trailer came out earlier this week for a movie with a lot of pressure on its shoulders. We kind of talked about it a little while ago. We don't know how Captain America Brave New World or Thunderbolts is going to hit with fans. But either way, I think it's pretty safe to say that for a lot of disgruntled fans, the future of the MCU largely depends on this movie winning some fans back. From Marvel Studios, and starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach as Marvel's first family. The Fantastic Four: First Steps hits theaters on July 25th.
Yeah, this is a big one. You were saying there's a lot riding on it for them, and I think it's going to perform well, even if people have qualms with maybe the stories or character representations or whatever. This trailer is selling a mood and vibe that is, I think, refreshingly different from anything from the MCU and anything we've seen with the Fantastic Four. We got a little taste of it at D23 when we saw that sort of flavor reel. And this feels more or less another type of flavor reel, but with more in context of what the world is actually going to look like and what elements are going to look like and what the Thing is going to look like. Like, he looks incredible. The CGI is pretty good. It looks good.
What's wrong with MCU fans? Like, nothing's comic book accurate enough. And then all of a sudden you get this unbelievable, beautiful, retro, perfect representation of Thing. And they're like, his eyebrows are too much like the comics. Are you kidding? Get out of here. I'm done with you people.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. I think he looks great. I think he looks
amazing.
He looks better than what they did, and I know that was with prosthetics with in the original film, but he looks better than what they did then. And
with Chickless?
With Chickless, yes.
The Rocky bowling ball?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. With a face.
Yeah, it didn't translate well. So I think that and there's one from way back, the unreleased movie of the Fantastic Four. That thing is nightmare fueled, black eyes, and just, it's a weird sort of look. But yeah, I think that this movie is selling the retro vibe, and I think the biggest thing about it for me is the sense of you mentioned it with Thunderbolts, Nate, the family aspect and selling that. And I think, we think of Reed as this leader because he's super smart and he's really inept. He's very with it in that he understands how to problem solve on the fly very quickly, which just makes him the leader for Fantastic Four. But I think the real leader of this movie is going to be Sue Storm. I think she is going to be the heart. She's going to be the thing that binds them all together and brings them together. And I think she is pregnant in this movie, and I think that is going to be a huge reason why they're fighting to keep things together, is their family is growing. Maybe we find that out at the end or something like that. I don't know. But I think that there's the way they've positioned her, even in this trailer, she seems like she is very much the anchor and maybe the real leader of this family.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see if who is their kid again? It's
Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards. Yeah. So that would be
There's some iterations where I believe there's twins, but like I think like in the one iteration that I've followed, it was just one. It was Franklin. So
interesting.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, you guys have gone, down all the rabbit holes and all the analysis and everything like that. You've seen clearly the shot of Reed at the chalkboard, and to his left,
oh yeah,
there's it looks like a little bridge between perhaps
multiverses,
multiverses, and so this is how they'll go from their universe to ours at some point, I'm assuming.
Yes. There's a lot of little things. The one thing I actually noticed with that chalkboard scene, really quick, is just how like you do see that little like worm tunnel thing that he's drawn, but beyond that, it's just black. It doesn't even look like it's naturally. Like, it looks like they've taken things out in a lot of ways. It's just black for the sake of it. It doesn't look cohesive to the actual lighting and stuff like that. It just looks like they painted over it. So I'm wondering if there's more stuff that we'll see on that chalkboard that'll be of importance.
Well, and I think the thing that they knew what they were doing, at least with this trailer, was putting even cousin Richie with the sauce, right? Like, hey, and then he's still finding ways to improve it. I think, you know what, Marvel fans are gonna Marvel fans. The internet is gonna internet. They're always gonna not like whatever. But shout out to Matt Shackman and the team on this movie for just taking all the things that that he learned with WandaVision and just being
Yes.
able to apply them so beautifully. I think the biggest thing that sets this movie apart is going to be the look of the film, and I think that's the most exciting aspect to it. Getting to see, these little kids running around, and they've got these like crappy vintage looking thing masks, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna need one of those. Get me one of those. Sign me up. Let me order one of those right now. They got little action figures, and I think it's cool as well because it kind of looks like we're getting a very well-rounded story of the Fantastic Four. Like, it feels to me, at least, like we're going to get to see a little bit of their introduction to the world. But if they've got action figures and things like that rolling out, I don't know how fast they were able to make action figures back then, but they've already got them at some point. So I feel like we're going to get to see them. We're going to get to see sections of them both, prior to their fame and maybe a little bit more further along.
Maybe prior is like flashbacks. I totally agree with you there, but I think that we're dropping in. They're famous. They're known as heroes. Like, I think that's what makes the Fantastic Four so unique. Like, they're so celebrated as a hero family, and that's what was so big about them in the comics, is that they did all of that PR, and they did the sort of the imagery, the image boost thing where they would go out and do public events and stuff like that. So to have action figures, to have all that things, I think you're right. I think they've been around for an extended period of time. I wonder if we'll see glimpses and moments from when there is like flashbacks of like maybe how they got their powers, but I hope we stay away from doing a full-on origin story. I feel like we don't need it.
It's just that one shot of them sort of standing there like they're almost in like a car show or whatever, right? And they've got the light on them.
Retake of the Beatles, from the 60s.
Right? So it kind of feels like that's their introduction to the world. So I don't know if we're going to get to see a little bit of that. We got to see Galactus. Looks phenomenal from the back, and that shadow. I'm
People were
really
already
stoked.
complaining about that too, saying like he looks small.
He can
like,
grow. That's his whole thing.
No, he can grow and shrink. I totally think. But
Yeah.
I'm like, just going off of this Galactus thing, I wonder, and it's just me throwing it out there to you guys to see. But they always have a way of kind of connecting these multiversal events, right? And I wonder if our invasion, our incursion, or the thing that happened in Avengers 1, right, where the Chitauri came in and stuff like that. I'm wondering if that's like sort of like if this whole Galactus event is that event for them. Do you know what I mean? It's like this sort of earth-shattering event that flips everything on its head, right?
I like
that's
that.
That's going to kind of like really challenge them and showcase what they can do, because maybe at the moment they're just a novelty, right? And they do odd sort of things. But yeah, I wonder if that's it. The only other thing I wanted to say is that it's weird that we didn't see any stretching from Pedro, eh?
Yeah, to the point where it's like, can he do that? Do you think that that'll even be?
I wonder if they're still
part of his
working on the
character?
visual effects of it, because it's still.
That's what
weird.
I think. It's more likely than Mr. Fantastic isn't going to stretch.
Yeah, I think they need to figure out how to make that look.
Yeah.
Like, look good and not cheesy. But
Because I mean, they kind of didn't really do it for Miss Marvel, right? Her embiggen powers don't really, they're more like glowy powers than anything. So it's interesting. I mean, that was on a TV budget. Obviously, this is on a much bigger scale. So hopefully, you're right.
You're gonna have that moment though where he wraps himself around someone, right, and holds them. Like, that's so iconic to the comics, and like different moments that I think you have to have at least like some sort of callback moment like that. But I think it's going to be how it looks, because that can come off I wonder if that can come off very cheesy. Do you know what I mean?
Like cheese string cheesy, like a cheese string guy stretching out there. Do we see Julia Garner, Shala Bal or something? Silver Surfer. Do we see Julia Garner, Silver Surfer, before this movie comes out? Are we going to see her in one of the trailers, or are they going to save that for the actual film? Or do we just get spoiled with everything?
Like, are you asking what I want or what I think?
What do you think?
I don't think we'll see her.
I don't want to see her.
They always. I don't want to, but they will. They always do.
Yeah.
They give us everything these days. It's crazy.
I think they're gonna pull. I think they'll hold back a little bit. Like, they don't need to release another trailer until about month and a half before the movie comes out, like an actual like how we just got with Thunderbolts, because like even what Thunderbolts is May and it's February. Do you know what I mean? I expect we'll get a final trailer within the coming weeks of the movie's release, but outside of that, I think this might be it. And they'll just be cut downs from this unless they give us Sentry. Like they didn't give us Sentry. So I don't know if it's any advantage to them to give Silver Surfer. Like if they know this movie's going to perform well, and if everything I've been reading about, like just the behind the scenes of like people at Disney love it, people at Marvel love it, they're very excited for people to see it, then, you know, you can hold back a little bit. There's nothing there, nothing that's pushing them to like reveal anything.
Yeah, and I heard that, you know, a lot of people were speculating that they didn't show her as the Silver Surfer in sort of these first few looks because of the stupid internet being stupid idiots and a lady Silver Surfer, blah blah blah, and they didn't want any of the negative noise to be around that. I'm assuming that's probably why they may have held off, but I hope that we, you know, I hope that they don't. If they do show her, we barely get anything. Like I would love them to save it for the actual film. The only other thing I wanted to quickly ask, and then Kevin, I'll throw it back to you. But do we get Doom in this movie? Is he at the end? Is RDJ the post credit?
He's a post credit.
Yeah, okay.
He's a post credit, and I think there's probably going to be a reference to him. In the movie where they might mention Doom, because it'd be interesting.
But haven't they been saying that they're kind of shying away from having him
they
have a
haven't said
relationship
anything
with Reed?
Well,
I mean, the internet talks a lot.
I know that's the internet, but I don't think that I think that like, I wonder if maybe I don't know. Again, I'm not someone who feels like they know everything, but like at the end of the day, I wonder if there's a way to have a Doom-like character or a Victor Von Doom mentioned in this iteration.
Oh,
of
that's like your friend Victor from college.
Yeah, exactly.
And sorry, one last thing, because I was sort of getting the vibes from this. They're the only superheroes in this world. Is that what we're thinking? Do you guys think that? Like, I feel like with how hyped up the world is about them, or at least the people we're seeing are about them, it's not like, oh, they're just another group of superheroes. It's like, these are the heroes.
And that's why they won't be able to defeat Galactus on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to destroy everything. I think we're going to see some big, full-scale destruction in this movie, which we haven't really seen in a Marvel movie in a while. And that's why they need to figure out a way to get out of there and get to another multiverse.
Wow. It almost sounds like the version of the Fantastic Four that I pitched a long time ago on a Total Recast. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Back to that episode.
I'm going
back to that
listen
episode.
to that.
We listened to it. I remember
Almost
it.
exact.
No, it was about like Doctor Doom traveling back in time to like see his.
I'm telling you, bro, it's almost the same plot. I think Matt Shackman listened to our episode. I'm just saying.
Well, we could argue about this all night, and when we're talking about movies in this day and age, everybody argues about everything, as we are right now. One thing that I've noticed a lot of people complain about over the last few years is color grading and saturation and everything. They were doing it a lot before Deadpool and Wolverine, but I think this movie looks beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's so rich. It looks well lit, and our final movie really gave me those vibes too. This felt like an old school summer blockbuster with these beautiful colors, not gray and faded out like the last movie in the final franchise we're talking about here. So this also came out earlier this week, and it's for a franchise that definitely finds itself in need of a bit of a reboot after the last entry failed to impress. I mean, when you bring back an all-time fan favorite character like Ian Malcolm and your movie still sucks, it is time to try something else. So from Universal Pictures, starring Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, and Rupert Friend, comes Jurassic World Rebirth, which roars into theaters July 2nd.
Yeah, this looks just like the title suggests, right? It's a rebirth, and it looks refreshing. I think they have a chance to do something really special with this movie. I'm not gonna set my hopes at the height of this brings back the original love for the original, at least two. I'll say the original three, the original trilogy of the Jurassic Park franchise. But I think Gareth Edwards, he knows how to do big monsters. And this looks like it could get really scary, which I'm really stoked for.
Yeah, he's got a skill that he understands how to make things terrifying in that way, like he did with Monster and Godzilla. But I think he also has a way to do things really, personal too, just like he did with the Creator. He has this ability to tell really personal stories as well. So it's going to be interesting how he's going to take what he's done and mix that with that sort of monster level threat. But yeah, Kevin, the color is so vibrant, which was so surprising considering the last two films, or most of the films that Gareth does, things are pretty muted and desaturated. But this was like amped up, right? Like you could see stripes on these dinosaurs, right? And it was pretty crazy. But yeah, the internet is already interneting about this one, and the color grade is one thing, and then the other thing is the giant deformed dinosaur that seems
the D-Rex is what it's being called.
The D-Rex.
That's the concept art name for it. So because there was some concept art that's been leaked from years ago that matches exactly what this is.
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, like I heard that there's a sequence in this one involving a Tyrannosaurus Rex and humans on a boat on a white rod or a raft kind of thing, and that was originally something that was supposed to be in the first one. That was like something that they storyboarded
from the books, right?
Yeah, it's from Michael Crichton's original novel. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be with the D-Rex. I think they're going to adapt it into this one. I think the secret here is we have to be afraid of a big bad dinosaur, and we've seen the T-Rex so many times, and we've seen the T-Rex. Like the T-Rex in the first two movies is incredibly terrifying. Even in the second, that waterfall scene where he grabs the guy out through the waterfall and then you just see his blood dripping down. But now the T-Rex is our friend. He's been saving the day for the last four movies. So I just don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, even in the first one. I mean, the first one he doesn't mean to. The Raptors just piss off and go on him. But the T-Rex is our buddy now. I don't know if he can be scary. You need, and they tried it with the Indominus Rex in the first Jurassic World, but that movie was just so spectacle and spots and not as nearly as much about
it was
fear.
On the nose. Yeah, but it was on the nose, recreating Jurassic Park, and also saying well, we finally did it. And what do people want? They don't want to see just boring dinosaurs. They want to see enhanced dinosaurs, things that are different from what they actually know, and they want to be scared, right? It's so on the nose of what Hollywood's trying to do with the Jurassic Park franchise. And I feel again, we could find ourselves in something like that with Rebirth, but the only saving grace is having Gareth Edwards behind it, right? It could be really interesting.
Well, and I think, Kevin, you and I had this conversation on our way to a screener about I asked you, I was like, are dinosaurs just not cool enough anymore? And I think you guys are nailing it, but I think the more that I've sat with the idea of the D-Rex, hoping that it's not sort of the only main scary thing in this movie. I do hope the original dinosaurs are still brought to life and a little bit more scary.
They bring up raptors,
right?
And we're gonna get those old favorites as well.
But I found myself, really coming around to the idea of this oopsie that's been on the original island, forgotten for all this time,
just manifesting its rage and horror for all these years.
Yeah, and I like that idea. I like the idea of sort of the even before the original Jurassic Park, right? This is the stuff that we're getting into, origin story of what the park was. I hope we get to learn a little bit more about InGen and all the different elements of the original stuff. And I think Jonathan Bailey looks great. He's putting on his glasses. Megan sent me a hypercut already of just Jonathan Bailey moments from the trailer, and I'm like, Megan, you can keep your eyes closed the entire movie, and then I'll nudge your shoulder or whatever when Jonathan Bailey's on the screen. She's like, that'll do, thank you.
But they've also done supercuts of Jonathan Bailey and the character from Atlantis, if I'm not mistaken, or
Treasure
Island.
Milo.
Yeah, that would be Treasure Planet. Yeah,
Treasure Planet,
bro.
Yeah. And I'm like, I could see this. I would definitely dig a Treasure Planet movie. Just saying.
Hell yeah.
I think we've brought that up a few times on the show. Like that, there's your live action Disney.
Let's go. I think Scarlett Johansson looks fantastic in the movie as well. I'm really excited.
No, it's another woman coming in to save men in a dangerous situation. 2025 is the worst year yet.
No, she looks so good.
She looks badass and cool, and she's awesome. And Mahershala Ali, like
I think
that
you're
great
quoting
everything.
the internet on that one.
Of course, I'm not saying it from me. When I
No,
use
no,
that
no.
voice,
Well,
That's internet voice.
I don't need to.
I don't know.
If I get the nasal, I'm making fun of morons.
Sure, absolutely.
Mahershala Ali looks like he's having a blast with this movie, playing Duncan Kincaid, and I'm just excited to see sort of where they go with these characters. And I like the idea of us caring about these characters, but I also kind of like the idea of us sort of like, they're just the vessel for us, right? They're just the vessel for us to sort of get through this story and go through this world. And yes, you want to be scared for them, but I really want this movie to be bigger than them, right? Where I feel like maybe the last few movies, it was too much about the humans, right?
For this movie.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll pull them back. I'll pull them back as we get closer and closer. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I trust Gareth Edwards because he made a fantastic Star Wars movie that's better than Solo. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, he found a way to do it again.
He always
it's like
does.
The third time in 2025. That's amazing.
Yeah, I know.
We're still in February. That's great.
He's still bitter about it 5 years later.
I'm gonna have to do a redo of that one, and I'll have to re-listen to the arguments and really see what I
Get
think.
a rematch going.
But with all that said,
Rematch.
well, speaking of matches and big matchups, it's obviously going to be a pretty crazy July. In addition to Fantastic Four and Jurassic World, we're also getting Superman. Like this month, and there might be a real loser this month. One of these three movies might really, really underperform, or we could get a Barbenheimer, triple play, and there's $3 billion coming in at the box office.
What were you
from
trying
just
to
these
call
three
it,
movies.
Kevin? What were you trying to call it when you go see all three at the same time?
Jurassic. Yeah, Jurassic Man, or Super Jurassic.
Interesting.
Well, that would be the
that
would be
I haven't coined
roughly
it
the
yet.
order.
Yeah.
But what movie do you think is going to perform the best, and which movie are you most excited about?
I think Fantastic Four is going to. I think Fantastic Four is going to perform the best. Fantastic Four is the one I'm most excited about.
Yeah. I'm going with the same Fantastic Four for both. I think it's the one I'm most excited for July, and a close second to that is Superman.
Yeah.
But I wonder if, as you were saying, Kevin, as we get closer, that one might slide back. I don't know. The excitement's there. That's definitely there, but there's also a lot of like hesitation because of Superman and just
I think that one of the three trailers, I think people are like, yeah, it's Jurassic World, whatever, and everyone will underestimate it, and it'll make $1 billion. But like people were the least harsh about that one. I think Superman, it seemed to me, took the most criticism based on fan reaction.
And I'm actually really excited from what I saw for that film. But maybe Jurassic World is going to be the loser of the month
For sure.
But I think the big winner will be Fantastic Four. I think they'll knock it out of the park. At least I hope I do.
Well, and it's just Fantastic Four is like, this is the next big, this is the next phase of Marvel films we're kicking off, right? It's got that on its shoulders again. And then we've got, you've got Superman, the next phase of DC, whereas Jurassic is basically just like, just be better than the last one, please. Yeah. Just be better.
Exactly.
Than the last one. So it doesn't have as much.
But I will say,
can it be worse?
Yeah.
Don't think so.
Come on, it's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I know. The last thing I'll say though, just about this trailer and that I liked is the subtle callbacks that Gareth was able to still incorporate in the trailer. You got the banner falling at the beginning there, and then you also have like that with Duncan, the Duncan character, the Dr. Alan Grant with the flare. waving it, and it looks like he's trying to draw the Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever it is, maybe the D-Rex.
It's the D-Rex, I think, in that scene.
So he's doing that. So I think that it'll be interesting to see how he, as a fan, incorporates some of those little callbacks to other moments for fans. You know what I mean? And it doesn't need to be as obvious as mentioning Dr. Malcolm or
having somebody run in high heels from a dinosaur. Yeah.
I have one more theory, if I can put it out there. We're gonna see Mr. DNA somewhere in this movie, whether it be in the background,
like on a broken screen, and
on a broken screen, or either that, or they've got some new fandangled technology that they've got, and it's got to be like,
and he's
Mr.
like
DNA AI, exactly.
He's
bro.
AI, and he has like this like very positive demeanor, but he's like fucking the AI from Terminator.
Dude.
Like, he is plotting everyone's destruction
with DNA.
Dinosaur. Yeah, exactly.
You're
with
gonna
die.
die.
Oh my god. Oh,
bro.
I think we just
Look
wrote the next movie.
But speaking of, I just did a rewatch of, a binge watch of Abbott Elementary because I wanted to watch the It's Always Sunny crossover. So I got through
Such a good moment.
Justice for Gregory. That Halloween costume slapped.
So good.
He deserved the win.
Yeah.
I was devastated. But yeah, and he does a great Dino DNA. But all right, boys, that is going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for joining us for the Geekcentric podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love to know which trailers got you most excited for the upcoming blockbuster season, and which movie do you think will ultimately rule the box office in July. You can let us know at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or if that's a bit like watching your quarterback get sacked on the last drive of the game and you'd prefer to see a Hail Mary for some last-minute heroics, which we did not get anything like that this year at the Bowl, you can reach out to us on our socials. Justin, where can they do that?
Well, they can reach us on Twitter at GeekcentricYT and on Instagram and TikTok at wearegeekcentric.
As always, we have a ton of great content for you to check out. Just in time for the season of romance and Valentine's Day, we have our spoiler-free review for the Kei Kwan action romance Love Hurts. We recently reviewed Mythic Quest Season 4, Marvel Animation's Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, and Severance Season 2. Speaking of Mythic Quest, we got a chance to sit down to chat with some of the cast and series showrunner for that video game-inspired comedy. We also recently attended the Toronto screening for Netflix's What's Next, where they showcased just a taste of what we should expect from the streamer in 2025. Geez, between everything coming out on Netflix, all of these movies coming out this summer, it is going to be busy, busy, busy here at Geekcentric. Of course, we have so many more reviews, interviews, convention coverage, and more that you can check out wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube at youtube.com. Plus, coming up, we will have all your geeky coverage for Pixar's first series, Win or Lose, Captain America Brave New World, and Daredevil Born Again, plus so much more. So stay tuned as we continue to try and get through the coldest time of the year by warming the cockles of your hearts and bringing you coverage of the biggest and best projects in the Geekiverse. But until then, as we say,
Blue 42. Love ya.
Oh, nice. Hut, hut, hut. Get home safe, guys.
Peace. You say cockles?
Oh, he loves his cockles, dude. He's always talking about cockles.
I forgot to change it from the last one. It still works. I only get to use it for this last show, and then I have to do something else. The cockles of your heart. It's a thing.
Yeah.